Hey everybody, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm the host of the show, Mark, and you're watching Whiskey Review number 195. A very interesting whiskey from Scotland, a Scotch whiskey, and that is Kilkerran, 8 years old, cask strength. This is from the Campbeltown region. Let me bring the bottle up close and personal for you. There it is. It's 56.2% ABV. Unchill filtered with no added color, and this is the heel of a bottle, not much left there, fairly recently opened bottle however, and this was a let's call it a donation to Whiskey Whistle here in Korea. That's where I live, in Seoul, South Korea, from JS Ryu. So JS, here we are. Thanks so much for that little donation. No little donation, I should say. That's a fair amount of delicious whiskey left in there. I may have to visit his neighborhood more often. So let me get that poured. And being that this is review number 195, actually I promised someone I would do it for this review. And his name is Rob. And Rob is in Japan. He's also Canadian, although he is from Quebec. So he calls himself a Canadien, I believe. So he's from Quebec, and his Twitter handle is Rob. Let me get that poured first of all. Rob au Japon. So R-O-B. I think that's more than enough. Got a little tiny taste left for another day. So R-O-B-A-U-J-A-P-O-N. That's his Twitter handle, and also on Instagram. He has a very interesting handle for Instagram, and that is Kebeknohito. Quebec Nohito, it looks like. Anyway, so Rob, this is for you, and also JS Ryu. So that's just great. Thanks for the wonderful whiskey to JS, and thanks for the request from Rob in Japan. All right, let's get into this now. First of all, the color. Let me show you the color of this whiskey. It's 8 years old, it's cask strength, and it's basically a nice sort of a lemon yellow or grassy, we'll call it, what can I call this color? It's a little bit lighter than gold. Anyway, so we'll go with lemon gold for this one. And unchill filtered cask strength. So this should have some very slow, drizzly legs. Let's see if I can induce some nice leg formation. Or what did somebody call these? For Scotch whiskey? You don't hear the word legs very much. But what do we get here? Yeah, very slow. Let me see if I can get that nice and close for you, and then I can magnify it with a little bit of help from iMovie. There we go. Pretty slow, drizzly legs. And look at the mess it leaves on the glass. Which I like, because that tells me that this is really natural, so that's great. Now, well, what I want to do first of all, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to simplify things a little bit with my reviews. I've been doing a whole lot of editing, and it's taking me a lot of time to do, hence the slow release for the last few months. So I think I'm going to take a step back from all the editing, and I'm going to start putting out more reviews just as is. Like most people do, leave it as is, and then on occasion, when I feel like I've got the time and the patience to do so, then I'll jazz it up and make it look extra special. So this is going to be the first, we'll call it a back to basics review here at Whiskey Whistle. All right, and before I start, I should also invite you to, well, subscribe to the channel, all right? So you can do that by clicking right over here, okay? So just follow this little arrow, well, my hand anyway, And right around here you'll see click to subscribe. Why not click it? Why not? You never know what'll happen. It's not going to set your computer on fire. Your cell phone's not going to blow up. Don't worry. All right. So please subscribe. And then don't forget about my Twitter, my Instagram, and most importantly, my Facebook page for Whiskey Whistle. Yep, that's one that I feel is really important because it's got a huge audience. And, well, to be quite frank, until recently it's been pretty much underperforming. So I'm going to try to spend a little more time with the Facebook page. All right, so let's get on to this one now, all right? So on to the nose for Kilkerran 8-year-old Cask Strength. The first thing I noticed when I smell this is that it smells a little bit like hay. It smells like fresh cut hay outside. It's very outdoorsy. There's a little bit of sweetness in there, just like there's a little bit of sweetness when you smell some nicely dried, not musty, freshly cut hay. Why do you think all of those cattle eat that stuff? All right, so there's hay. There's a little bit of peat in there. Not that much. I think I noticed more peat in the 12-year-old, in fact, which is interesting because it's younger and it's also cask strength, so I should get more peat. But maybe they've used a little bit of a less peated malt for this one. I'm not too sure. And then from my notes, the more you smell it, you'll get some salted toffee. It has a certain young effervescence to it. So when I was taking my notes for this, I thought, this is going to be a little bit kind of fizzy on my tongue when I taste it. Now, for a young whiskey, it's quite complex. I get cafe mocha, brown toast, also some browned onions, sautéed browned onions, a clean barnyard, and again this mild peat. So a little bit of earth, a little bit of salt, a little bit coastal, and then you've got this sort of a, well, graininess to it, the toast and the cafe mocha, the hay. All right, and let's get on to the palate, okay? Cheers, everybody. Now I always forget to I wanted to say, take small sips with this one at first because it's pretty potent. Even though it's only 56.2%, there's lots of cask strength whiskeys that are well over 60. Anyway, it's got quite a potent flavor to it, so take smaller sips. So let's backtrack one more time. Now the first thing I do get on the palate, again, is this sort of outdoorsy, sort of a hay flavor, forest, that kind of a scent, that kind of a flavor. The peat is a little bit more noticeable on the palate than the nose. This is very dry. It's quite earthy. It does have some sweetness. And I wrote here that it reminds me a lot of the Glenlivet Nadura, the 16-year-old. So there's something similar there, and that may be just the fact that it is a ex-bourbon cask. Yeah. Interestingly, now that I smell this after I've tasted it, I do smell a little bit of kind of like the cask itself. And I can say that because I visited a distillery a couple weeks ago and I know what a cask smells like. I stuck my nose on the casks. I think they thought I was probably crazy. Okay, back onto the palate. Peaty. A little bit mouth coating, quite oily. And yet there's this coastal essence, saltiness to it. Now, while it has quite big flavor, I find that it's really hard to say individual flavors at this strength with this particular whiskey. With the exception of a lemon pith, the white of the lemon. And finish neat. Oh, let's talk about the finish when it's neat. Well, it's very dry. You swallow and you get this crescendo of dryness. A little bit of heat, a little bit of young heat coming through there. And I wrote here that it's green banana-esque in the feeling on my teeth. And I still get this hay and sweet toast sort of a flavor left over in my mouth. Now, one thing to note is that this whiskey, when I'm drinking it neat, this Scotch, the single malt Scotch from Campbeltown, makes my eyebrows sweat very much the same as unripe kiwi does for me. Interesting. I'm a weird animal. All right, I think that's about it for the finish when it's neat. Lengthwise, not that long, not that short. Let's call it a slightly less than medium finish. All right, let's get on and add some water here now. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've added about 5 milliliters of water to what looked like about 15 milliliters of Kilkerran 8-year-old in the glass. First, I'm going to roll it around, get it mixed up. It's getting a little bit sweeter. And then I'm going to agitate it because I want to see what comes out of here. Much more of that salted toffee. Cafe mocha, much stronger here. The hay component a little bit diminished. I think I need one little extra dash. Don't be afraid of adding water to this one because it's thirsty. It takes a lot of water. All right. Yes, cafe mocha brown toast. More of these. It's still quite salty. When you add enough water and wait long enough, which this one certainly has not waited long enough. However, you'll notice I've got another little glass here. This one's been around for a little while. And look at the cloudiness in the glass there. Pardon me. Yes, with enough water, the right amount of water I should say, which of course is different for everybody, and the right amount of time, you'll be treated with some strawberry jam. It gets sweeter and sweeter the longer you wait. And some digestive biscuits. Now, although, that being said, if you wait too long, you're going to start getting a stronger sautéed onion note, which could be undesirable for some people. Interesting. Sauteed onions. All right. So this one, of course, hasn't been sitting around very long. No strawberry to be found yet, but certainly sweeter. Anything else there? Oh, I wrote here, with water, the nose reminds me quite a lot of Springbank 10-year-old. With Springbank 10-year-old, yeah. Okay, onto the palate with water. Cheers, everybody. Much sweeter. The dryness has diminished quite a bit, although it is still pretty dry. And I'm getting lemon candies, lemon zest, lemon pith, a little bit of grapefruit even. That sauteed onion note has come through into the palate here with water. And yes, it's young. It's still a little bit on the hot side. Okay, so there's still a little bit of, more kind of a oomph in your mouth that you don't get with much older whiskeys. And when you are a little bit more liberal with the water, that lemony, grapefruity sort of flavor seems to develop into more of a tangy orange, which is nice, and a little bit of strawberry also in the palate. Yeah, that strawberry is really coming through nicely here in the palate. That's great. The finish with water, it's dry. It's dry. It's dry. You get hay. You get lemon, especially the pith. The strawberries coming through in the finish a little bit also with water added. It's very nice. Now, price-wise, is it worth talking about the price? Might be on the little bit on the pricey side, especially here in Korea. I think they were asking something like $170 for it, and I thought that was pretty ridiculous. So I did not buy myself a bottle. I was hoping it'd be more like around the $100 to $110 range. I did buy the Kilkerran 12-year-old for $100, and of course many of you know that I broke the bottle. And you can find a funny little video of me breaking the bottle and all my funny facial expressions on there too. So have a look for that one. I'll put a link to it here. I quite like the 12-year-old. I think I like the 12-year-old more than this one. Now, I do like this one quite a lot. It is very complex. Plus it's cask strength, etc., etc. So it's great. Now, I think I'm going to go with 87 out of 100 for this one. Where's my pen? It's over there. 87 out of 100, yes. All right, so that's going to be the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Kilkerran 8-year-old cask strength, 87 out of 100. So, why the slightly lower score? You might be expecting 90 for this. Well, it's still quite young. I think it is underaged. I think this would have been much, much better at 10. A 10-year-old cask strength. I think that would have improved it immensely. Now, of course, it would be more expensive also, wouldn't it? So I guess there's some sort of a formula there that they want to get the right price, have the right number of bottles that they can release, etc. Now, anyway, 87 out of 100, I think that's a very good score. It's great whiskey. If you are in the UK or in the US, it's a definite buy. If you're here in Korea, I would say that you should try a glass at a bar. And you can also do this one. Take a sample vial with you to the bar. Order yourself 2 of them. Ask for 2 glasses. Pour 1 glass into your sample bottle. Take it home with you. USA or UK, you guys are lucky. that's a definite buy. All right, so 87 out of 100. Thank you for watching. I'm going to cut this one out now. Stay tuned for what's to come. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.